What if life gives you so many beautiful tomatoes? What do?
Tomato soup, chef.
There you go. That's what they say. When life gives you too many tomatoes, stay calm, make tomato soup. Let's start cooking. You will find many ways to do a tomato soup. From a can, people add some onions, garlic, canned tomatoes, boom, cook it, blend it. The old school way, onion, leek, celery, carrot, tomato. There are various ways to do it. Now, whenever I go to the market and I see really good tomatoes, it reminds me of two things. A really nice, good makhani gravy, a really good pasta sauce, and definitely a beautiful tomato soup. And as you can see, this is the perfect weather for the tomato soup. Also, in the summer, you can also have a tomato soup, but have it chilled, okay? I'm going to be coming to chilled recipes in a couple of months, but let's focus on these lovely tomatoes. So now, since we are using heirloom tomatoes in this recipe, this is going to be a delicious soup, okay? So I'm actually taking these slightly overripe ones which are here to make my soup, because at the end of the day, they are going to be pureed and all. So I was talking about different methods how you can make tomato soup. Now, the tomato soup which I'm making has very less ingredients. People are keeping on asking me, Vicky, you're using too many ingredients. Well, it takes some ingredients to make something nice. So I said, you know what? Just like the Italians do, they put minimal things when they are working with tomato sauces or with tomato soup. I have a very simple recipe. Onions, garlic, really good olive oil, basil, flat leaf parsley, and tomatoes. That's it. Okay, I really don't need to use a vegetable stock. You can, but then what I would do, I would make a tomato stock. If I have too many tomato trimmings, if I've got tops and tails, but here I don't have too many. I'm making a little pot of soup for me and my family here, and that's what it is. So I'm taking about 4 to 5 tomatoes, which is about 1 kilo of tomatoes, I would say. Okay, these are pretty heavy. So we're going to be using a mix of some of these. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and one more will make about 1 kilo. Let me look for a really overcooked. Yeah, perfect. This is great. This is so good. So onions, simple. You can chop them, you can dice them, you can slice them, because remember, ये आपका soup blend होने वाला है, okay? So I'm just cutting these just like this. Now there is a lot of ways where you can make a really nice tomato soup with an Indian flavor, almost like a tomato broth or a shorba. In that case, you're going to add cinnamon sticks, you're going to add peppercorns, you can add cloves. And we will be doing a soup where we are giving it a very Indian touch to it. We are making a really nice tomato ka shorba, which is almost amazing to have, but next time. So we've got a good amount of garlic. I've got onions here as well. You want to add a little bit of chilies or chili flakes, you can always add it a little later, okay? Now, at the end of the day, you have different people in the family. Kabhi bachcho ko, they don't really like too much spices in their food. Let's start cooking. So we've got about 1.5 tablespoons of a really nice good olive oil over here in this recipe. We're just going to warm it up a little bit, into which I'm going to be adding a couple of bay leaves in here and just a few peppercorns, just for that little kind of flavor, yeah? This we're going to be adding. Lightly usko saute karenge. Now look at these juicy, beautiful tomatoes. Yeah, so I'm just going to cut these into really nice chunks like this. So I can see the onions. Now onions ko hame brown वगैरह कुछ करना नहीं है. You just need to sweat the onions like that, okay? Very lightly sweat them. You can add carrots, you can add leeks, you can add celery. But you know, I don't want to get into that zone. I want to keep this a really nice tasty tomato soup with exactly what things you have in your house. So we've got a little garlic in here. Okay, garlic is again optional, guys. Okay, garlic is again option. So we've got these lovely. So really nice heirloom tomatoes going on here. We're going to be adding thoda sa basilico as well इसमें. इतना simple है बस. So what you can also do, you can also enhance your tomato soup using tomato juice as well along with it. Or just make a nice vegetable stock like I do. अभी हम इसमें about पानी डाल देते हैं. About almost 2.5 to 3 liters of water in here. Beautiful. Nice. Now I'm not going to be seasoning this now with salt because remember it's going to cook, it's going to reduce. So the seasoning of the soup is going to happen at the end. Now this lovely tomato soup to be has been simmering for about 30 to 40 minutes. Now if you've noticed, there's no tomato puree, there is no tomato ketchup. I know a lot of people who add ketchup in their soups, especially tomato soup. So I'm going to be finishing this soon after we blend it. I've always mentioned to you when I'm blending in my kitchen, I have a professional blender. It does blend hot things, but don't try this at home, please. Yeah. So we've got these lovely pulpy tomatoes going in. We've got a garlic, we've got onion, a little bit of basil. That's it, you know. So this is like the simple pleasures of a really good recipe, which is a real family style. But you know what? I'm going to do a really very, very European or American take to this soup suddenly, where I'm going to be serving this with, any wild guesses? Yes, I'm going to be doing a grilled cheese. So that is a really nice sourdough, whatever cheese you have in the fridge sandwich, a grilled cheese sandwich along with tomato soup. That's all I need. I'm adding a few leaves of basil here. I'm also adding a little bit of flat leaf parsley before I blend the soup. I'm adding a little bit of cracked black pepper. Okay, and then I'm going to be blending this. Perfecto. So we've got a really nice, beautiful, smooth kind of soup. Okay, it's not one of those thick tomato soups which are used to, where they add a little bit of flour to it, they add corn flour to it. This is a real tomato soup, if you know what I mean. Okay, so look at this lovely, almost natural, chunky with all your bits and pieces inside. I love my chunky soup, and believe me, this has a lot of nutrition, hardly any fat. I'm just going to add a little bit of butter or monte or beurre as we call it into the soup, and then next we're going to be start cooking our grilled cheese. So we have a lovely grilled cheese, yani ke cheese sandwich. We call this a toasted sandwich. In the US you call it a grilled cheese. So we have these 2 pieces of bread. Usko मैं हल्का सा पहले सेकूंगा, okay, and then after that I'm going to put my cheese into it. So I'm just going to literally lightly warm it up without any butter. The butter is going to go later when the cheese is going in. Perfect. So here we've got nice mixed cheese. I call this whatever you have in your fridge cheese sandwich. Okay, so we've got our cheese here. We can add tomatoes, we can add anything you want into this, right? I'm just going to be adding a little bit of cracked black pepper in this. I'm going to be adding a little bit of salt. Beautiful. And then turn this over. Perfect. So we're adding a little butter. We're going to press this. Beautiful. So nice grilled cheese sandwich. Okay, you could toast it, you can bake it, whatever you like. Beautiful. So nice, lovely caramelized, beautifully toasted bread with a nice melting cheese inside. That's all you need here. Beautiful. time for some souping. Lovely. So we have our lovely OG, the real tomato soup made with real tomatoes and no ketchup, ready for you. It's nice, thick, it's chunky. I purposely didn't strain or pass this soup because you know what? All the nutrients are right here in this. A lot of vitamin A, a lot of vitamin C in this. Beautiful. So we have our soup here, and it doesn't get better than a nice sourdough grilled cheese sandwich. We have a little bit of swirl of cream, and we have some lovely basil. Okay. Hope you enjoyed the soup recipe. Remember, I told you there are hundreds and thousands of ways how to make a soup. But believe me, I recommend this one. I'll see you soon.